Who is Hitler? Hitler is a German dictator who lived between 1889 and 1945. He was the architect of World War II, which ended with 80 million deaths. Adolf Hitler was born on April the 20th, 1889, in a town called Braunau am Inn in Austria. His father, Adolf Hitler, was a customs official, and his mother, Clara Polz, who was Alois's third wife, was a tailor. In Adolf's early life, his relatives called him Adi, but he preferred Wolf. He even used the name Wolf when rearranging the names of the invaded kingdoms in World War II. He went to primary school in his hometown. Then he went to Linz to attend high school. He started singing at the Venice Monastery Choir. He did some paintings, but his father never let him be a painter. His father died of tuberculosis when Adolf was 13. He did construction work to provide for his mother. He then left school when he was 16. He applied for Vienna Fine Arts Academy 2 times, but he was never accepted. At first, Hitler moved to Munich in 1912 to avoid his compulsory military service. But later, he could not find a job and he had to join the army. When he was in World War I, his fellow soldiers did not like him very much because of his extreme passion for war. He was injured during combat against England. The English soldier, Henry Tandy, who had captured him and kept him alive, later told that this was the worst mistake of his life. Hitler quickly recovered and was honoured with the Iron Cross Medal before he returned to Germany. He worked as a government informant for a while. He was affected and organised by German Workers' Party when he was supposed to be in the government spy in the organisation. Young Adolf had a strong influence on masses. He then rapidly became the head of a party. Then he changed the name to National Socialist German Workers' Party. He had an army of a few thousand people. Among them were burglars, rapists. Using this army, Hitler became a small but effective political figure. In the first election where Hitler was nominated, people preferred the former president, Hindenburg. He was an 85-year-old man who was bordering on mental instability. This rejection did not stop Hitler. He continued murders, conspires, and coup plots. Along with him, his street army, the Brown Shirts. He ended up in prison after being hauled putsch in 1923. He got out in only 9 months by using his political influence. When he was in prison, he wrote his 750 pages long book, Mein Kampf, with the help of his friend Rudolf Hess. The book was banished by the German government because it included Nazi propaganda. The minute he got out of prison, he focused on his military coup possibilities. Hitler's popularity reached the highest point when communists were planning a counter-coup. Hitler blamed communists for the well-known Reichstag fire and dragged the country into chaos. Hindenburg supported Hitler in his fight against communists, and this helped the Brown Shirts come into power. Like every dictator, he manipulated art, culture and politics. A while after he had taken lead, he exiled artists like Bertolt Brecht and Theodor Adorno and sent the rest to concentration camps. There are also people like Fritz Lang who escaped from Germany because he unwillingly excited Nazis' attention. Hitler hurt many women with his obsessions in his love life. He fell in love with his niece, who was only 20 years old. The young woman committed suicide because she was kept prisoner in her own home for years. Hitler later loved Eva Braun, who loved popular novels and physical education. She tried to commit suicide twice, but she could not get rid of Hitler. They got married the day Germany lost the war. In those years, when anti-Semitism reached the top, Hitler started with disgracing and removing Jews from government agencies. He made the Jewish people work 24 hours a day. But this way, he enlarged country's industrial production 10 times in months. Nazi doctors like Joseph Mengele experimented on living Jewish people with petroleum and radiation. Nazis did not only murder Jews, but also Democrat Germans, Bolsheviks, and old disabled crossbreed people. After Germany, Hitler turned his eyes on Europe. Along with the Italian dictator Mussolini, they invaded 24 states in the world. Folks of the invaded countries never embraced Hitler. The French cut the ropes of the Eiffel Tower's elevator before Hitler's visit. Hitler invaded France, but not the Eiffel Tower. Hitler became the target of 42 assassinations in many different countries. The war Hitler started reached across the Atlantic and killed 80 million people, but he did not want to stop. The war killed so many people between 1938 and 1945, 1 out of every 40 people were killed while fighting the war. Hitler was planning to open a museum called Museum of an Extinct Race, where he would exhibit bones and skulls of the Jewish people he killed in the concentration camps. The most interesting part is, he had never been in a concentration camp for not to be affected psychologically. On April 30th, 1945, at the end of the war, when it was certain Germany was defeated, he committed suicide with his wife, Eva Braun, and his dog. He used a gun and 2 tubes of cyanide. His last will was to be cremated, for he did not want his body to be examined by Russians. In his will, he wished for Nazism to be forever, and for a museum to be built in his name and many other things. But fortunately, any of this never happened. Although his will did not come true, Hitler left his mark on a century. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel by liking this link here.